So we're going to continue with our new COVID tradition of having lunch with our summer associate, in this case, fall associate, Tess Watson. Tess, would you be so kind as to introduce yourself to everybody, tell them what you've been doing for OSP and where you came from before OSP?
Absolutely, thank you, Jerry. So my name is Tess Watson, and I've been working with Kari Johnson here at O'Brien-Staley Partners, helping her out with the quarterly portfolio review and underwriting new investments. Prior to this, I was at the University of Chicago Investment Office working on the endowment and other portfolios that they have. I spent some time at Northern Trust and Deloitte, and I did my undergraduate at Kelley School of Business at Indiana University, and I have my CFA and my CPA.
Fabulous qualifications. So you obviously knew about us from your work experience at the Chicago Foundation endowment. Now that you've worked here, what would you say is different than your prior expectations coming into OSP?
I'd have to say that there's imperfect information. You know, that's definitely different from my technical training. When we're looking at a loan portfolio, we're trying to put the pieces of the mystery together to kind of tell the full story.
Yeah.
There's definitely a little bit more art than science than I expected.
Well, then you've learned a lot, because that's exactly kind of the trick. I usually describe it when explaining to LPs or to summer associate, fall associates, I describe it as movie endings. We do our credit analysis, we go through capital, asset management, earnings, liquidity, but we're asking ourselves, hey, in the 20 years of doing this job, you've seen this kind of scenario before. How is this movie going to end? And that's really where OSP express its view on credit. And that's what LPs expect us to do, is to express a view on credit. And we do it asset by asset individually. So I'm glad you got that art versus science. What would you say is something that was consistent or met your prior expectations about OSP?
Yeah, well, as you said, I got to know O'Brien-Staley Partners when I was at the University of Chicago, and I met you through Chicago booth events. And so I'd heard a lot about the Midwestern values, and that's really expressed in your approach to business.
Yeah.
So I would say that the culture and the team have really exceeded my expectations in that respect.
That's very nice to hear. Thanks for sharing that. We have an unofficial motto of the firm: what we want, where we want, with whom we want, and we take it pretty seriously. And I think actually buried inside of that might be a little bit of behavioral finance insight, because what I've noticed is sometimes you get people who pound their chest or are very aggressive personalities, and it usually reveals someone who has run out of options. Either they're illiquid or they don't like their position. And if you think about it, when was the last time anybody saw Warren Buffett angry? He doesn't get angry. He's got lots of options. He's not out of options. And so we try to live by that. And there's a poem called The Desiderata, and it starts out, go placidly amid the noise and haste, and lower in the poem it says, avoid loud and aggressive personas. They are vexations to the spirit. And that's pretty much what we do at OSP. Well, let me turn the tables. You've been working here for a number of weeks. I'm sure we've been answering questions all along the way, but is there any big questions that you were hoping to ask me while we have lunch?
Well, I've spent most of my time on the value strategy, but I know that there's an impact portfolio as well. So I'd love to hear kind of how you guys found your way into that.
Well, that's kind of a fun story. In addition to leading O'Brien-Staley Partners, I've also served on the board and the investment committee for 8-9 years of the Minnesota and St. Paul Community Foundations. And combined, they have about $1.3 billion endowment. And it's fully diversified, domestic, international, fixed income, equities, alternatives. And the topic would come up quite frequently, shouldn't we be looking at impact investing also? So it'd be referred into the investment committee, where I was in the room, for evaluation. And most of the people in the investment committee are kind of like me: analytic MBA, CPA, CFA, chartered accountant from the UK, and we all know the mathematics of portfolio optimization, and we all feel very strongly that you can't achieve superior optimized returns over the long run with a large portfolio by adding more constraints to your constraint optimization function. And so we were kind of really stuck in the mud. And then one day I was walking my dog right around here, 50th and France in Edina, and I was stuck in my Chicago state of mind. You can't, it doesn't, I know the math, it doesn't work. And I finally inverted the question, and I thought like a contrarian actually. Instead of telling myself where good returns don't come from, I asked, but where do good returns come from? And with that focus, the answer I feel strongly is good returns come from expertise and focus where somebody else faces a constraint. And so with that lens, started thinking about, okay, where does OSP have expertise and focus? Credit, economic development loans, things of that nature, and where do other people face a constraint? Well, I've seen banks unable to deal with the complex intercreditor agreements of impact and loans. I've seen trading desks unable to deal with the non-CUSIP registered. I've seen GSEs unable to deal with the idiosyncratic nature of the agreements. That doesn't mean they're bad credits, they're actually great credits. And we're able to get a good credit, have an impact, and get a positive alpha for our investors. So we're very keen on the impact strategy.
Yeah, that strategy really resonates with me, and I think I see this a lot with my peers and myself as well. We want our personal values to be reflected in the work that we do, and it sounds like impact investing is a way that those things kind of meet in the middle.
I agree, and it should be part of your balanced portfolio. I don't think it should be, neither one should be the whole thing. It should be a balanced portfolio in the right measure. But Tess, it's been a fantastic fall associate internship. We've loved having you, and I've got a surprise for you. Got you your very own OSP fall jacket.
Wow, thank you so much. This is going to be perfect for the fall weather.
Down in Hyde Park and here in Minneapolis, exactly right. So I hope you wear it in good health.
I will.
Good. I also, we got one more present for you, and that is your own copy of the tombstone for Value Fund 3, since you were kind enough to fill out the subscription documents from Chicago for us. If you pull down the vellum on top, you'll see that poem I was talking about, the Desiderata.
Thank you.
You're welcome. When you get back to Hyde Park, make sure Matt and Elizabeth know that this is your copy.
I will. I will.
That's great. And I'll see you back on campus. I guess it's going to be the credit club is going to have a meeting, and I'll join you there and look forward to seeing you.
Great. Can't wait to see you there.
Great. Thanks a bunch.